waiting for this to come online. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. I don't hear anything. No, there we go. All right, good morning. It's Tuesday, December 13th, 2016. This is my 15-minute morning stream in which I'm just trying to experiment with getting to start the day by just talking about stuff that I'm doing. This is really intended for people who know me in one way or another and designed to be entertaining. But I'm putting the process out there in case people are just curious about this kind of thing. What does it mean to stream? What am I going to talk about? What is it like to talk about your thoughts as they are occurring? Occurring? Or just learning how to talk. Anyway, I guess a 15-minute timer. And all right, what's on my mind today? Well, yesterday was my Groundhog Day Resolutions day, and I'd been feeling kind of off balance for several weeks, and I think I identified what it might be that's causing that. And I was looking at what I wrote yesterday, and it came down to this insight. I feel nothing's happening. The change that is happening slowly feels like a tiny expected reward rather than a big jump. And while I know intellectually that slow and steady progress is how work gets done, especially complicated, uncertain work, I really despise it. I hate slow and steady progress. And I want to see those big jumps, and I want to experience those kind of big deliveries. And they just don't happen frequently enough for me to maintain, whatever activation energy I need every day. And that's my theory anyway. And so I think there's two parts to this. Let me switch this camera here. So part number one. I mean, there's the initial excitement of starting. The exciting start. I don't think this is close enough. How close can I get this? Whoa. The exciting start gives energy. Try to figure out the best way to position this camera. Maybe something like this. Bring that up. Yep. That's a little better. The exciting start gives energy because everything is filled with potential. And then the exciting conclusion of a project gives the feeling of satisfaction. Now, in terms of game design, there's this what happens in between. And if you're a game designer, what you do is you stage these. The start and conclusion, there's this middle section that happens in which you have some kind of payoff. For example, you might just be learning how to do something. You're excited to start the game. You're figuring out the mechanics of play. You're figuring out the rules of the world. And you're given a number of short-term challenges that are well within your capabilities of figuring out and solving. The stakes aren't high yet. The world is new and interesting. That's enough to keep you going for a while. And then you close that chapter by maybe gaining some new ability or opening up a new world, and then the cycle of new potential begins again. It's hard to translate that reliable experience of gaining, of making progression. It's hard to keep that going in a real life situation without having other people coaching you on that, I think, and then having regular challenges that test your ability. So maybe that's something that I have to think about designing into my day. This isn't exactly what they call gamification. Um, Although maybe it's gotten more sophisticated these days. Before they used to talk about gamification being more about earning points. It was a really naive understanding about what goes into game design, I thought. Um, but there's something combined with learning, with coaching, with mentoring, with real life challenges, with real life skills and solutions that I think needs to come together to make this I guess the kind of satisfying progress I want to feel. I want to have it feel more reliable, or I need to deliver more reliable senses of progress. I mean, I've been going in this slow progress state for such a long time. The last major thing that I did was actually getting this whole living room cafe / studio thing set up, and I'm pretty happy with it. There's like storage stuff that I need to resolve. There's lots of little improvements to make, but the bones of the space are here. And that was a 2-year project. 2 years just because it took a long time to figure that out. What it was going to be. Some of the other projects I have going on are things like software development, or learning to make music, or learning how to cook something. The cooking stuff is a little bit more. Actually, it's quite a bit more satisfying because you get to eat. You get to eat your experiments. But with the software stuff, if you're learning new systems and new languages and new environments, I mean that can be pretty slow going. Learning anything that's complicated that delivers those big rewards requires a lot of commitment of time and experimentation, just being wrong all the time. And maybe my resilience for that has diminished as I've aged. Because I think I should know better by now, but I'm trying to divest myself of that mindset. Anyway, I'm just kind of rambling now. There's really 2 things that I want to do today, just specifically. One of them is getting the emergent task planner packaging done, so I can send that to the printer and they can start assembling those packages to send to Amazon. So like this is the basic design. It's basically the sheet that has just like this kind of graphical header on the bottom. That should be pretty quick. Why have I been putting it off? I don't know. It's probably gonna be an hour. Yeah, and then after that, the second thing is to resume some work on my contract, doing some graphical rewrites, so we can enable a feature that sends graphics from one browser to another browser in real time. This is for the Learning Sciences project. And those are the 2 things I want to do. And it's 10, almost 11 o'clock. And like as I look at this, I'm feeling not very motivated to do them. There's that gaping sense of, like, is this all there is? There's just more stuff to do after this. What's it all for? But I have a couple of tricks that occurred to me over the past few days. One of them is just writing, and I suppose that this live streaming thing is an extension of that. Writing and talking about what I'm thinking and doing. That tends to get me unstuck. It just gets the oil moving. And the other one is remembering to be in the moment. Or actually, not be in the moment. Remembering not to be in the past or future. That's a better way of putting it. It's more important to me to be specific about what I shouldn't do to get to the place I want to be. For example, focus for me is not like I'm focusing on the task. Focus for me is not being distracted by other thoughts. So getting those thoughts out of my head, that's the practical way that you do it. So maybe that's the duality of giving advice. It gives you an idea of like where the push-pull or the tension is, and if you have that, you have a better chance, I think, of being able to monitor and control it. There's the third trick is to time box, which is to only work for a certain amount of time and then stop. And I've been trying to get some metrics on what a good amount of time is. I mean, I keep expecting myself to go for 7 hours nonstop. And I read something somewhere that 90 minutes is the outside limit for most people. 90 minutes would be really good. If I can go for 60 to 90 minutes in a project, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that's what people do. It seems ludicrous to me. It seems like I should be able to go much longer than that. But I think part of feeling productive is also having realistic expectations. And the realistic expectations are tailored to one's individual abilities at a given time. Right now, not being in the most productive or motivated of moods, just try not to let the negative feelings, I guess to de-emotionalize, that's another thing that I need to remember to do. De-emotionalize my responses to tasks. I mean, like, I have to do this, I hate this. That's a poor response. I have to do this task. Let me address like I don't really feel like doing it, but don't let the feelings guide me. You can put someone else in charge. You have time for feelings later. And I think some people probably would take that personally and say like, oh, you can't tell me how to feel, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's true, but I'm finding that the feelings are preventing me from actually getting work done. And so whose side are the feelings on, really? Not really on my side. It's on its own side. And that's something that I cannot bear to give into. When those negative feelings just are really out to make you, to justify feeling a certain way or for feeling proud or something like that. I mean, I don't think that's a good justification for letting your feelings rule what you do or what you want to do. So discard them if you can. I just try to think about it as, well, I have these negative feelings right now toward doing this work at this time because I think the work is a little bit boring, or I'm bored, or I'm not feeling well, or I wish this, or I wish that. Does it really solve anything? No. So what might feel better is to get the work out of the way and just not dwell on how I feel about it. Because the feelings, I think, are indicative of a greater issue, which is, I think, really just not getting the things done. I mean, it's kind of a vicious cycle. I'm not feeling good because I'm not doing cool things, but I'm not doing cool things because I feel bad about them. So the feelings are the bottleneck. And the feelings don't serve anybody but themselves. They don't serve me. I am not my feelings. The feelings are part of me, but I am not them. I think that's the important thing for me to remember. When it comes to playing with cats or being supportive of one's friends, the feelings are a good thing to draw upon. But they're not particularly good at helping you get through difficult challenges if they are in the way. Especially if they're challenges that you want to do. That's kind of how I think about it right now. Anyway, that's about 1 minute left. Is there anything fun I can look forward to? That's actually something that I should write down. Have something fun to look toward to. I'm not good at doing that. Look forward to fun. We already had my coffee today. I still have some left. Need to water a tree. Oh, I don't really have anything fun to look forward to today. That might be part of the problem. Oh well, maybe I'll think of something. We'll see. So anyway, I'm going to quit out of this, take a short break, and then I'm going to start doing the design work. I'm going to allocate an hour to do that, and I will stream that as part of the graphic design segment for today. So that's about it. I will see you in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in.